Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Samsthapakacharya Savior of the whole world Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nithai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is entitled The Meeting of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva. Though this is the title of the chapter, in the first half of the chapter, the description is there of Nanda Maharaj celebrating Krishna's birth. And that is the section we are discussing. Today is verse number 8. Maha Arha Maharha Vastra Abharana Vastrabharana Maharha Vastrabharana Kanchuka Bhushitaha Kanchuka Ushnisha Bhushitaha Kanchukoshnisha Bhushitaha Kanchukoshnisha Bhushitaha Gopaha Samayayu Rajan Gopa Samayayu Rajan Nanopayana Panayaha Nanopayana Panayaha Maharha Vastrabharana Kanchukoshnisha Bhushitaha Gopa Samayayu Rajan Nanopayana Panayaha Maha Arha, extremely valuable. Vastra Abharana, with garments and ornaments. Kanchuka, by a particular type of garment used in Vrindavan. Ushnisha, with turbans. Bhushitaha, being nicely dressed. Gopaha, all the cowherd men. Samayayuhu, came there. Rajan, O king, Maharaj Parikshit. Nana, various. Upayana, presentations. Panayaha, holding in their hands. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O King Parikshit, the cowherd men dressed very opulently with valuable ornaments and garments such as coats and turbans. Decorated in this way and carrying various presentations in their hands, they approached the house of Nanda Maharaja. Please repeat this translation after me. O King Parikshit, the cowherd men dressed very opulently with valuable ornaments and garments such as coats and turbans, decorated in this way and carrying various presentations in their hands, they approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When we consider the past condition of the agriculturalist in the village, we can see how opulent he was simply because of agricultural produce and protection of cows. At the present, however, agriculture having been neglected and cow protection given up, the agriculturist is suffering pitiably and is dressed in a niggardly torn cloth. This is the distinction between the India of history and the India of the present day. By the atrocious activities of Ugra Karma, how we are killing the opportunity of human civilization. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We are discussing the birth of Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam. My birth and activities are all transcendental. What's the meaning of transcendental? That we can understand from the descriptions here. First of all, Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And the extraordinary situation in which Krishna appeared has already been described. That Krishna appeared in his Narayana form, fully decorated with all nice ornaments, with his transcendental bodily effulgence, dazzling, beautiful, very, very charming form, that Vasudeva and Devaki were amazed. Oh, the eighth child has appeared. So very wonderful. So they forgot for the time being everything about their imprisonment. Kamsa is going to kill, he has killed my past 6 children. All that they forgot. They became fearless. And they offered wonderful prayers to the child, newborn child. Vasudeva, even mentally, he gave so many cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Of course, it's described in the Bhagavatam, interestingly, that later on, when Vasudeva was released by Krishna's intervention in killing Kamsa, who was torturing Vasudeva, then Vasudeva celebrated later on by actually giving cows in charity in huge quantities. But still, Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison house were completely freed from all fear. That's why one of our acharyas, Govinda Das Kaviraj, he says, Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare. If we perform devotional service to Shri Nanda Nandana, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, then Abhaya Charana Ravindare, we become fearless, having obtained complete protection and shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is the situation of Krishna's birth, in which Vasudeva and Devaki became completely fearless. And after they became fearless, they actually offered nice prayers. But at the end of Devaki's prayers to Krishna, she began to express her anxiety that now that you have appeared, this cruel Kamsa, he'll attempt to kill you like he has killed my earlier 6 sons. So I want to hide you somewhere. I don't want this Kamsa to know that you have appeared. So Krishna, he reciprocates with his devotees wonderfully. So what did he do? He turned himself into apparently in a ordinary child's form, newborn child, infant form. But actually, Krishna's pastimes are all transcendental. He did not turn himself into an ordinary child's form. He actually turned himself into his original form. Original form. But still, this form is a form suitable for his pastimes in this earthly planet, in this material world. Why? In the spiritual world, there is no birth pastime. Ajopi san avyayatma. Krishna says, I never take birth. I am birthless. And so are we. As spirit soul, we are birthless. We have no spiritual birth. We only have what is called as material birth, where we are given a material body. So, Krishna is birthless, and in the spiritual world, eternally he is engaged in his loving pastimes with his devotees. So, that is another mystery about his form. What is the mystery? That in the material world, he appears like a small infant. And then, like we get this material body and our body seems to be growing, though actually there is no growth for the body because it is a dead body. This body is made of matter. Matter does not grow. Matter does not become big. Matter does not age. Matter is actually always deteriorating. If at all some material object is produced, created, then it deteriorates with time by the action of what? What is acting in this material world throughout the universe? Kala, okay. Kala is an imperceptible thing. 3 modes of material nature. Material nature is acting. It's acting according to Kala, yes. But this body is actually deteriorating. How is it deteriorating? Everybody will say it's growing, it's becoming stronger, it is becoming bigger. So how can you say deteriorating? Because after all, material body, it has to deteriorate. What's the answer? What is Prabhupada's explanation? See, read Prabhupada's books carefully. Prabhupada explains every single thing. As we are growing, we are dying. He got the correct answer. What's happening? As soon as a child is born, because we got a fixed lifespan. Fixed lifespan. Let's say somebody's lifespan is 80 years. When the child is born, 80 years is his lifespan. So one day is over, his lifespan is reduced. 80 years means 79 years, 364 days. Ek din khatam ho gaya. One day of his life is over, finished, expended. But foolishly, we think, actually everybody thinks they're going to live forever. Till actually they attain youth. Oh, we're going to live on forever. And for living forever, we are developing our body. It's becoming bigger, stronger. So much promise of a great life ahead, a bright future. It is actually one big illusion, grand illusion of Maya. On the other hand, Krishna's form, being spiritual form, what is the nature of spiritual form? It is unchanging, avyaya, ajopisan avyayatma. What does Prabhupada translate avyayatma? 4th chapter, 6th verse. His transcendental body never deteriorates, never changes. never deteriorates. It's not a material body. It's a transcendental, spiritual body. It does not deteriorate. So, Krishna appeared in his Narayana form. Actually, that Narayana form in the spiritual world is not like that of a small boy, baby boy. Here, he is appearing as a baby boy, 400 Narayana form. So, you should note all this very carefully. His birth is extraordinary. There is no such form ever seen in the material world. Baby boy, Narayana form. Where has anybody seen? Never seen, never heard, never imagined. Narayana is full-fledged adult form. Of course, it's a completely spiritual form. It's not a material form. Nevertheless, if Narayana appears in this world, 400 form, Vishnu form, Narayana-like form. That Vishnu form is also a different form than Narayana form. So all the forms in the material world except Krishna and Balaram are actually not the original forms from the spiritual world, but forms of incarnations of the Supreme Lord. This we have to carefully note. Incarnations. There is no incarnation in the spiritual world. The word incarnation means, there's a Latin meaning for it. Means to assume a form made of flesh and bones and blood and all that. Basically, it means flesh. Flesh. So, incarnate means to appear in a form that is tangible, visible, perceptible, made of flesh. This comes from the Christian theology. Incarnation, the word, comes from Christian theology, where they say God is actually, they use the word immanent. Immanent means he never assumes a form made of flesh and bones and blood. He is beyond that. We are all subject to getting this material body. Another way they say, God never takes a material form. Anyway, they don't say that, but that's what it really means, even in the Bible. So, incarnation is actually against the principle of God never assuming any form, material form, never taking any material form. Therefore, incarnation actually means God assumes a form which looks like a material form, but is not a material form. That is what is called incarnation. Literally, it means assuming a form made of flesh. But in reality, when it applies to God, when you say the soul has incarnated, the spirit soul has incarnated in human-like form, in a human form, not human-like form, human form, then it's called incarnation because the spirit soul is also unchanging. Spirit soul is not mixing with the body. Asangoyam purushaha. So in another sense, we are also incarnating. We are coming from the spiritual world. Where are we coming from? Where do we belong to? We belong to the spiritual world. We are coming in this world. But our coming here is our imprisonment in a material body. Krishna's appearance, there is no question of imprisonment for him because he never enters a material body. he appears in his original spiritual nature. Original spiritual nature. Now, the spiritual form he appears in are of two kinds. Krishna and Balaram is one kind of spiritual form. What is that? The original form in the spiritual world. And all other forms of incarnation, Varaha, Narsimha, Vamana, Rama, Bharata, Shatrughna, Lakshmana, all these forms are assumed spiritual forms for the purpose of the Leela in this material world. Assumed forms for the purpose of Leela in this material world. Whereas as Krishna and Balaram, they don't assume any form. They are performing their Leela in their original form. Original form. But still, the original form in the spiritual world is actually a mystery. Because in the spiritual world, as far as Narayana is concerned, 400 form, he is always 400 and he is always in an adult-like form. It's always like that in the spiritual world. And even his devotees, Narayana's devotees, who have a human-like form, they are also 400. They are also 400. Whereas in Krishna Loka, Krishna is not 400, he is 200. 200. Krishna has got a human-like form, and Krishna's associates, the cowherd boys, they also have a 200 form, human-like form. Krishna's parents, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, they also have a human-like form, 200 form. Krishna's other, Nanda Maharaj's associates, Yashoda's associate, they also have a 200 human-like form. So this is the mystery behind Krishna's appearance. His appearance is completely special, even compared to the appearance of the other incarnations, Krishna and Balaram. Their appearance is very, very extraordinary. Then, here it is described that Krishna, as soon as he appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he performed his Leela of turning himself into a small human child-like form. But actually he appeared in a baby boy Narayana form, but he turned himself into his original form as Krishna, 200 form. Now that form, again in the spiritual world, Mother Yashoda is always in Goloka Vrindavana having Krishna as her beloved child. And that child never grows old because it's a spiritual form. Eternally she is the mother, eternally Krishna is her beloved child. As far as the cowherd boys are concerned, Krishna is eternally their friend and Krishna is eternally 5 years old. He never grows. Okay? Then, as far as the younger gopis are concerned, Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, so many gopis, young gopis, who have conjugal relation with Krishna as their lover. Krishna is always Shyama Sundara form, 16-year-old cowherd boy, 16-year-old cowherd boy, just blossoming into youth. But he remains that way eternally in Goloka Vrindavana, performing his pastimes, eternal pastimes with the young gopis. So, the spiritual world is characterized by absence of material time. This is explained in the Brahma Samhita. Nimeshardhakyo va vrajati nahi yatrapi samayaha. Spiritual time is there. Not that spiritual world there is no time. There is time, but it is spiritual time. Spiritual time means nimesha ardha akhya. Not even half a moment. Nimesha, in Kannada we say nimsha means 1 minute. But in Sanskrit, that word nimesha is used to mean 1 moment. It's a fraction of a second. And that measurement of time is given in the 11th chapter of the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. Atomic time. Atomic time and universal time. Atomic time in this material world can be understood as the time, all time in this material world is by the movement of the sun. Just like we say day and night. Day means the sun is visible in the sky. And night means sun is not visible in the sky. Okay? Similarly, the movement of the sun is the way we are able to perceive time. So, the time it takes for the sun to move across the dimension of an atom, material atom. Material atom is very, 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 very small. So that small fraction of second is called nimesha. So Prabhupada translates it as a moment. 1 moment. The shortest, smallest division of time. So even half a moment does not elapse in the spiritual world. Nimesha, nimeshardhakya. What is that verse? Nimeshardhakyo. Nimeshardhakyo va, even nimesha ardha action. Nahi vrajati, nimeshardhakya nahi vrajati. Not even half a moment elapses in the spiritual world. That is the description. So there is no material time. Material time means it deteriorates everything. It takes away. Ayur harati vai pumsam udyan astan chavai. The sun by its rising and setting, this is what the Bhagavatam 2nd cantos Shukadeva Goswami describes. That it takes away our lifespan, deteriorates our lifespan. But not for those devotees who are engaged in pure devotional service. For them, this rising and setting of the sun, or the movement of the sun, or material time, cannot take away their lifespan. On the other hand, by pure devotional service, we transfer ourselves from material time to spiritual time. And in spiritual time, there is only eternal time. Eternal time means forever the devotees live, forever the devotees are having their youthful forms, forever they are engaged in loving pastimes, forever they are blissful, full of knowledge. But that does not mean there is no variety. That doesn't mean there is no variety. Just like Yogamaya in the spiritual world arranges sunrise and sunset. There is no need of sun in the spiritual world, as described in Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. What are the words in the Bhagavad Gita? Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko, na pavakaha. In the spiritual world, there is no need of sunshine and moonshine. Because spiritual world is always illuminated by what? Krishna's own bodily effulgence. Yes, correct. Krishna's own bodily effulgence. Not only it is illuminating the spiritual world, the spiritual planets, but also the spiritual sky, and also is illuminating the earth, the material world. How? The sun is reflecting Sunshine is reflected Brahma Jyoti. And moonshine is reflected sunlight. Reflection of the reflection of Brahma Jyoti. Okay? So, the effulgence of Krishna's body, Krishna's transcendental form, actually illuminated Devaki and Vasudeva's prison, where they were imprisoned, Kamsa's prison, where they were imprisoned. And that pastime happened for a very short time, because both are anxious to hide Krishna, Vasudeva and Devaki. So Krishna arranged, okay, take me to Nanda Gokula. That is his Leela. He wants to perform his childhood pastimes in Vrindavan. For that, he changed into his original two-handed Krishna form. And apparently, Yashoda gave birth to Krishna as a two-handed child. Ordinary, normal human child. Because she appeared in a normal human-like form. But that's also not her assumed form. She also doesn't have a material form. All the residents of Vrindavan, associates of Krishna, including Krishna and Balaram, they have their original form even in Gokula Vrindavana. That Vrindavan Dham descends with Krishna, with the Krishna's associates, with all the Kalpa Vriksha, with all the peacocks, the monkeys from the spiritual world in their transcendental forms, and they display their transcendental activities. They display their transcendental activities which are eternally going on in the spiritual world. But the speciality about Krishna's appearance is also that Krishna displays some more different pastimes than what he displays in the spiritual world, than what he is carrying on in the spiritual world. Like this birth pastime, either birth as Vasudeva and Devaki's child, or birth as Nanda and Yashoda's son, both are peculiar to this material world. The spiritual world, there is no birth. There is no death, there is no birth, there is no disease, there is no old age. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. That is only for this material world. There is no janma. Therefore Krishna says, janma karma chame divyam. And that divya janma is only in the material world. This is what pointed out by Srila Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami has given commentary on the Bhagavatam. He has not written directly Bhagavatam commentary. He has written Shat Sandarbha. Shat Sandarbha, he explains the real import of the descriptions of the Bhagavatam, of the pastimes of Krishna, his incarnations, his devotees, etc. So he describes Krishna's birth pastime is only in the material world. Krishna killing the demons, that pastime is only in the material world. Spiritual world, there are no demons. Krishna being is a description of Krishna's pastime in the material world. So he is describing how the cowherd men and women celebrated Krishna's appearance. Now this celebration also is very unique. Why? Because the cowherd men and the cowherd women, they are ordinarily engaged in agricultural activities, cow protection. But they are very, very opulent and rich by such activity. So Prabhupada says, based on the description of this verse, the verse says, the cowherd men dressed very opulently with valuable ornaments and garments, such as coats and turbans, decorated in this way and carrying various presentations in their hands, they approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. They were all very jubilant. And Nanda Maharaj has given birth to a very beautiful baby boy. So they all went to greet Nanda Maharaj and also to see the newly born child. And they carried various presentations. That's standard in Vedic culture. When a child is born, then the presentations people carry and congratulate the parents for the appearance of the newborn child. So, the covered men and women also decorated themselves very nicely because it's a joyous occasion. They're going for a festival. So they dress themselves very nicely. But Prabhupada says in the purport something about the comparison of the ancient Bharatvarsha and the present day Bharat. He's comparing the two. He says, when we consider the past condition of the agriculturalist in the village, we can see how opulent he was simply because of two kinds of activities. What are the two kinds of activities? Agricultural produce and protection of cows. Therefore, Prabhupada many times says, in the Vedic culture, a rich man, his richness is calculated according to the quantity of grains he has and the number of cows he has. Dhanyena dhanavan, gavyena dhanavan. This is a statement in the Vedas. So simply by having huge stock of food grains and having big stock of livestock, cows. Cows means they continuously give milk. And milk is such a wonderful edible that you can convert milk into so many products. Prabhupada demonstrated this in America. That Prabhupada said, first of all, you should have cows. You should have farm land, agricultural land. So devotees purchased some land in New Vrindavan. Prabhupada called it New Vrindavan. And there he told devotees to also buy cows. And the cows were being taken care of very nicely, lovingly by the devotees, according to Prabhupada's direction, according to Vedic directions. So they were giving so much milk, much more milk than what such cows would give in other places in America. And then the devotees didn't know what to do with so much milk. So Prabhupada said, I'll teach you what to do. So first of all, you milk the cows and then heat the milk, and then devotees can take as much milk as they want after offering to Krishna, of course, prasadam. As much milk as you want, you take. And then the excess milk, you convert it into, first of all, yogurt, dahi. And then dahi also you take as much as you want. But then dahi is so much, they can't consume all the dahi. Then that excess dahi, you churn and produce butter. Then you take as much butter as you want. And then the excess butter is also in excess. That excess butter, what do? Turn it into, it won't remain. See, milk won't remain for long. Dahi won't remain for long. Butter won't remain for long. Convert butter into ghee. Convert butter into ghee. Ghee will remain for very, very long time. According to Ayurveda, older the ghee, the more the medicinal value. And for certain medicines, it is said, ghee should be 100 years old, 50 years old, 1 month old, 10 days old, like that. So, ghee does not get spoiled, however long you can keep, but its medicinal value increases as it becomes older. Same is true with honey. Honey produced by the honey bee, that also the older it is, more medicinal value it has got. People don't even know honey itself is a medicine. Ghee itself is a medicine. That they do not know. Anyway, so honey, its medicinal value increases as it becomes older. Increases as it becomes older. So this ghee, they ultimately turn whatever excess milk or curds or butter into ghee. Ultimately, excess milk is all converted to ghee. But Prabhupada showed how with milk and sugar, 2 ingredients can prepare hundreds of varieties of sweets. Hundreds of varieties of sweets. Just milk and sugar. But if you combine milk and some specific grain and sugar, then you can produce more varieties of sweets, different from the varieties of sweets made with milk and sugar. Then, one more thing Prabhupada taught. Instead of milk and sugar and grain, you take ghee and sugar and grain and still more different varieties of sweets. So how many varieties of sweets you can make? Virtually unlimited. Virtually unlimited sweets you can make. And then not just sweets. Don't add sugar. You take milk, not milk, ghee and grain and some different spices. You can make sabjis. Varieties of sabjis. They call those paneer sabjis. Paneer sabji is the only sabji we know. We don't know how to make with butter. We don't know how to make with yogurt. Yogurt also you make, I think. Chutney is not make. Okay. So every milk product combination with so many spices, so many varieties of nice prasadam can be prepared. This is the importance of the cow's milk. That's why Shastra says, Go Raksha, protect the cow. Protect the cow. Cow protection. And land yields so many varieties of edibles. So many varieties. First of all, you can grow grains by tilling the land and cultivating the land. But grains is one variety of produce. Then you can grow so many vegetables. You can grow so many fruits. And land produces so many different types of flowers. So many different types of flowers. And then so many different types of leaves. Shak. What is it? Shak. What do you say? Soppu. In Kannada is soppu. What is that soppu? It's all leaves. That leaves are also got wonderful taste and they are also edible variety. Apart from the medicinal herbs and medicinal value of different other things, even edibles, so many varieties of leaves. And then so many varieties of bark of tree. You can produce so many edibles. So the earth is also yielding so many varieties of produce. Virtually unlimited. And then by doing some mining, you can get so many varieties of metals. So many varieties of metals. After all, they are in the earth only. Nobody can manufacture iron or gold. Nobody can manufacture. All the bogus yogis from the air, they manufacture. They are actually stealing from some place or taking it from some place if they have yogic power. Unless they are hiding in their kurta or whatever. Somehow they cannot produce gold. Whereas Krishna, at the time of creation, of this earth planet, along with earth itself as an element, that earth element is not only in the form of clay and stone, marble, and granite. We recognize all that as earth, yes. But even the metals are earth only. Metals are earth only. Varieties of metals. Varieties of minerals. Manganese and what else? So many minerals are there. They are also earth only, earth element. So earth, when you say earth planet, it is so very special. Earth planet is special among all the planets in the entire universe. That earth itself as an element in this earth planet, earth is the planet is rich with so many varieties of that earthly element, metals and minerals and all kinds of clay, and every single thing that is there in the earth is useful for human society. Every single item in the earth is valuable. You see? So that is earth. That is Krishna's creation. And that is also Krishna's inferior creation. It is not superior creation. Superior creation, there is no creation. Superior energy called spirit is manifest in the spiritual world in so many varieties. Material world, only one type of spirit is manifest. What is that? Living entity. Living entity. That's the only spirit that is manifest in the material world, which we can perceive. Living beings. That is the only manifestation. Spiritual world, Krishna himself is Supreme Spirit. Then Krishna has got a spiritual energy. Yogamaya. And that Yogamaya has manifested so much spiritual variety. All the material variety we see is present in the spiritual world as spiritual variety, manifestation of Yogamaya. Here the material variety is manifestation of Mahamaya. This variety we see here, material energy transforms into 8 elements. And the 8 elements, the 5 elements combination we see, so many varieties, earth, water, fire, air and sky. Combined, varieties of so many material objects, sense objects. Correct? So, this actually is Krishna's creation. Krishna's creation, inferior creation. Superior creation is spiritual world. Similarly, our activities as human beings are the activities of the living entities in this material world is inferior activities, material activities. Krishna's activities in the spiritual world and the material world are completely spiritual. And spiritual activity means full of variety, full of life, full of joy, full of all spiritual characteristics. All spiritual qualities are there in Krishna's spiritual manifestation. So, the primary characteristic of spirit is Satchid Ananda. Primary 3 characteristics. But this Ananda, joy, happiness, is of different varieties of happiness. Material happiness is not happiness. It's not happiness. It's simply some sensation. Senses come in contact with sense objects. That's all. That's all material happiness is. Or even material distress. But the real variety of happiness is spiritual happiness. And spiritual happiness, what is the variety? Rasa. Spiritual happiness characterized by rasa. What is that rasa? Prabhupada translates it as mellow taste of devotional service. Pure devotional service. So pure devotional service is spiritual activity. It's a product, if I may use that word. It produces spiritual happiness. And that spiritual happiness is full of rasa. Just like nice fruits, juicy mango fruit. That mango juice is so very nectarian.
So very nectarian. Like that, the spiritual happiness full of nectar, amrita. Bhakti rasa is full of amrita. So, bhakti rasa amrita. And it's the quantity of sindhu, ocean. Ocean of bhakti rasa, amrita. Bhakti rasa amrita sindhu. That is devotional service, bhakti itself. And that also ever increasing. The quantity wise, it's unlimited. Another way of telling unlimited is, it is an ever increasing ocean. Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes this. Time is up. I have to stop. Okay, we'll stop here. Vrintaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.